Hello, MGBNAM here, and today I'm going to quickly show how to use the patch function of iLive's reader. So to start with here, I've loaded the SimCity 1 DAP file. That's the file that contains almost anything you might want to mod that's included with the base game. I'm also going to open up the navigator window. This is going to help us to find content in a much simpler way. You see here everything is linked together with a bunch of categories we can use to find anything. For example, here at the top we have the residential options and commercial options and industrial options. Those are the base buildings that appear in the game. Let's say that we wanted to modify the Maxis large high school. So the best way to go about changing existing content is to use a copy of the original files and modify those. In fact, generally speaking, you should never edit the SimCity DAP files directly. Under Buildings here, you can view the Buildings exemplar. We'll make a copy of this by right-clicking and selecting Add to Patch. Also note that the navigator links together the other items used by a given lot or building, including the parent cohort, model, query, text strings or L-texts, and icon. So for this example, we'll also add those LText files to our patch as well. Now I've deliberately started by looking under the building section, since often we only want to change how things function, ergo the buildings exemplar is going to be most important. However, if we start with the lots category instead, you find it also links to the buildings exemplar, the opposite not being true. Ergo, everything is all going to be in one place that you might need if you go through lots. While we're here, I'm just going to quickly add the lot configuration or lot itself to our patch file. Having got our files together, we can click on the patch button and a new window will appear, the patch manager. And as you can see, this contains the files that we've added to the patch, the building and lot exemplars and the L-texts. By clicking create dat here, we can create a new file which contains everything shown in this window. So now I have a file containing all the elements that I want to edit, and when we place that in the plugins folder, it will override or alter the original content. Bear in mind, if you want to use the patch manager more than once without reopening the reader application, you need to remove the previous entries before continuing to add new ones. So it's a good idea to do that after you've created your initial patch, so you don't forget. Let's say we want to modify something that we've downloaded. The process is much the same. This time I won't be using the navigator window. I'll just show you how it works within the main reader window itself. So I'm going to quickly go through how you would change the textures on these models just by making a quick edit to the ID. That's a change you might want to make. But rather than editing the file directly, what we're going to do is create a patch file as before. You can select either individual or multiple entries to add to the patch manager. You may also find that sometimes it's useful to delete the entries whilst they're still selected, having added them to the patch first. This can be useful, for example, if you want to modify existing content without keeping the originals. You can also use the patch manager when you only want to keep part of a larger file. The patch manager is the quickest way to do this, but does require some understanding of the data within the files to do this properly.